Hi everyone, part one of our lesson today is going to be a little bit of review on solving integers. This might seem a little like elementary for some of you, but this is a really important skill. So we want to just brush up on all of it just to make sure everybody remembers the basics. And if you're having a tough time, which a lot of people are, it's okay. You can hopefully learn this skill using the little song I'm going to teach you today. So we know that if these two little guys are rowing a boat, so we're going to go with the rhyme of row, row, row your boat song and sing a song and hopefully remember the rules on adding and subtracting integers. So same sign, add and keep. So of course 1 plus 4 is 5. So we know that these two have the same sign. So we add the sign and we add the numbers and keep the sign. So the answer is 5. Here we've got -1 plus -4. They have the same sign. So we add the numbers and we keep the sign. So same sign, add and keep. All right. So that's simple enough. We add the numbers and keep the sign. So we keep the sign. So it's safe. You have the same sign, you add the numbers and you keep the sign. That's what this means. Okay. So then this part says different signs subtract. So if you have different signs, you subtract the numbers, right? So same signs, you would add the numbers, and you have different signs, you would subtract the numbers, but keep the sign of the bigger number. And that one, a little imagination there. So we have different signs here. So here we have a +1 and a -4. They're different signs. We're going to subtract those two numbers. So we know that 1 minus 4 is 3. We're going to keep the sign of the bigger number. In this case, the bigger number is the 4, which is negative. So we're going to keep its sign, and our answer is -3. You see that? So we subtracted because they have different signs. We keep the sign of the bigger number, which is 4, and that is the sign that we keep for the answer. So here on this problem, we have different signs. So -1 plus 4, we're going to subtract. Remember, different signs subtract, and we're going to keep the sign of the bigger number in here. The bigger number is positive, so we're going to subtract, and we're going to keep the sign of the bigger number, which is +4. In this case, our bigger number is 4 again, and keep the sign of the bigger number. Okay, so if you ever have different signs, you add them, or subtract the different signs, you subtract them, but you keep the sign of the bigger number. Okay? Now, what happens with this is, when you have a subtraction, you want to change your subtraction to addition. You've heard me talk about this, add a line, change a sign. And this is a little sensitive. So when you're taking a subtraction sign and changing it to positive, you're going to add a line to the minus sign and make it a positive sign. And you're going to change the sign of the number to its right, not the number to the left, to the right. So this was a +8. It's going to change to a -8. And now what you have is 3 plus -8. And we know that we have different signs. Yep. And we're going to subtract those two. We're going to keep the sign of the bigger number, which is 8. So we're going to subtract. We'll get 5. And we're going to keep the sign of the bigger number, which is negative. And our answer is -5. Let's look at this example here. -3 minus 8. So with this one, what you're going to do again is change the minus to a plus, change the sign of the number to its right, never the left. So change the sign of the number to its right, okay? And then you're going to add. So let me give you a minute to do that on your own. We'll be back with the answer. Okay, so I add a line and change the sign on this one. And as you can see here, we add a line to the minus sign. Make the minus a little thicker here for you to see. And we change the sign to plus, and we change the sign of the number to its right. So negative 3 now is plus negative 8. Same sign, right? Negative 3 and negative 8 have the same sign. So you add and keep the sign like the first set of problems that we did. So we're going to add 8 to 3, that's 11, and we keep the sign, which is negative 11. Final answer. Okay, so here we have 3 minus negative 8. Again, I'll just make this negative sign a little bit thicker here for you. So we have 2 negatives. And so what we want to do is, again, add a line to the minus sign, right? And then change the sign of the number to its right. Never the left, always the right. So we read math from left to right, remember that. So to add a line here to the minus sign, make it into a plus, change the sign of the negative to positive. Now we have we have 3 plus 8. And sometimes when things kind of get too much is going on, just write 3 plus 8, like change it up, make it look nicer for yourself. And in this case, that is positive 11, because you have the same signs, of course, and that's positive 11 right there. Okay, so on this one here, negative 3 minus negative 8, we're going to go ahead and let you guys do this one on your own and see what you get. Negative 3 minus negative 8. Okay, here we go. So I add a line, change the sign here. Remember to change the sign of the number to the right. And so that became negative 3 plus positive 8. I rewrote it again just to make it a little bit easier for me to see. And I can see that they have different signs. So different signs, subtract them, and keep the sign of the higher number. Our bigger number is 8. So it's positive. And so we kept the sign of the bigger number. So the song is this. Same sign, add and keep, different sign, subtract. Take the sign of the bigger number, then it will be exact. Okay? So you can kind of think about it as the row, row, row your boat song, right? So same sign, add and keep, different sign, subtract. Keep the sign of the bigger number, then it will be exact. Okay? So hopefully that will help you remember what to do. Now let's practice some more. I'll let you guys do these 4 problems on your own. Some of these have a couple of extra steps, but that's okay. I think you guys can handle it. Just to make sure that this is a nice thick negative sign here for you guys, here and here, so that you don't miss it. And we'll be back with the answers. Okay, so hopefully you got all these answers correct. Make sure that you're looking at all the signs, how they've been changed. Never change the sign of the number to the left, always to the right if you have to change your minus to a plus. Remember, different signs, subtract, keep the sign of the higher number or the bigger number, which is in this case negative 7, so the answer is negative 5. Once again, on the second one, there's both of these negatives. I changed them to a plus negative, and I added from left to right. So negative 8 plus negative 2 is negative 10. Same sign, add and keep the sign, plus another negative 10. Again, same sign, add and keep the sign. So adding the numbers, we get negative 20. Same thing over here, getting positive 7. Remember all the steps. They can get a little confusing, so it's nice to be able to rely on a little, helpful jingle now and then. Negative 5 plus positive 4. That's negative 1. Different sign, subtract, keep the sign of the bigger number. And then, of course, we're adding it to 6, so 6 is a bigger number. So our answer will be 5 because we're going to subtract these and get 5 as a positive answer. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and review how to multiply and divide. And I'm going to introduce you to Mr. Divmalt. Mr. Divmalt works only for division and multiplication. Okay, so do not use him for adding and subtracting. It's for dividing and multiplying only. That's why his name is Mr. Divmalt. He has 2 eyes that are negative signs. So you could kind of like, he's a happy guy. And he says everything that's positive. So his mouth is a positive sign. So what you do is you basically cover the signs that are in the question, and the answer has the sign that is not covered. So this is how it goes. -10 divided by -5. So div-mult now, right? We're not using the song, we're using div-mult. So negative divided by negative. So how we use Mr. Div-mult is we're going to go ahead and cover the two negative signs because the two negatives are in the question. You see? So we're going to cover the two negative signs on his face, which are his two eyes, and the answer is positive. Ta-da! Answer is positive. So the answer is positive 2. There you go. So that's how Mr. Div-mult works. So with this one, negative times a negative, same thing. We're going to use div-mult for adding or multiplying and dividing, right? So we're going to take his face again, and this sounds just, whoa, that was not a great circle. I'm not going to attempt to do that. And negative times a negative, we're just going to cover his two eyes again, right? And the answer is positive. So in this case, we're multiplying, so positive 50. See that? So over here, we can see that he has, let's see, bring this down a little bit further for you to see. We have 10 divided by -5. So in this case, what we have is a positive 10. So we're going to cover the mouth, which is positive, and we're going to cover one of his eyes, which is negative. So the positive 10, that's his right here, the sign for positive 10 is positive, and the sign for -5 is negative. So the answer is negative. See that? So 10 divided by -5 is -2. So if you're ever kind of confused about what to do when it comes to multiplying and dividing, draw Mr. Div-mult's face. Okay? And multiplying, once again, 10 is positive here, and then we're going to go ahead and cover the positive mouth. And -5, it doesn't matter which negative you cover, the final answer is negative here, except you're multiplying, right? So it's -50. Okay? So that's how you use Mr. Div-mult. Very good. We're going to go ahead and do some practice problems now. Thank you.